Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda, and please welcome to our Operation Freedom platform, WeThePeopleProcessing.com. You know, are you tired of being threatened to be canceled just because you have a company focused on liberty and freedom? Well, worry no more, folks. WeThePeopleProcessing.com is your go-to merchant services, freedom-based company to provide business service payment solutions. We the People Processing provides their clients a cancel culture-free platform which is domestically based. They provide competitive rates, no contracts with next-day funding, a fully vetted and like-minded financial infrastructure, and full support for integrations, implementation, and e-commerce efforts. Bottom line, WeThePeopleProcessing.com focuses on defending your company's free market growth, values, and future. Check them out at www.WeThePeopleProcessing.com. Once you're on the site, enter in password Operation Freedom or call 855-499-2024. That's WeThePeopleProcessing.com. Then, when on the website, enter Operation Freedom as your password or call 855-499-2024.
Mr. President-elect,
go ahead.
Can you state
She's
categorically?
asking a question.
Mr.
Don't be
President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be
You are
rude.
attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude. No, I'm not going to give you a
question.
question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir.
I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to Dave VS The MSM. I'd like to thank you for joining me today and thank you for supporting this platform, at least what's left of it on YouTube. The censorship continues to be out of control. Manipulation of notifications, manipulation of view counts. It's just one thing after another. And our videos from in the past, distant past, are being taken down by the powers that think they are. Where we have unrestricted, uncensored content 24/7 is davejanda.com. Extra shows, extra content, extra guests, archives to all of our shows. We hope you become part of our freedom family and join us at davejanda.com. Tremendous amount of free public content, but where the real meat of the matter, in-depth analysis, in-depth guests bringing information forward. Recently we had Tom Renzon, the attorney who's going after Fauci, the NIH, the CDC. He exposed on our platform huge information about the real data and the real numbers and the real adverse situation that is occurring with it. I can't say it. And hope you'll join us there. The title of today's presentation is The Biden-Harris Thugocracy's Abuse of Power. Remember Carl Sagan? He was on Johnny Carson show a fair amount. The astronomer, the astrophysicist, billions and billions of stars. Okay. Here's what he once said. Quote, "One of the saddest lessons of history is this. If we've been bamboozled long enough, we tend to reject any evidence of the bamboozle. We're no longer interested in finding out the truth. The bamboozle has captured us. It's simply too painful to acknowledge, even to ourselves, that we've been taken or conned. Once you give a charlatan," how appropriate with Biden and Harris, "once you give a charlatan power over you, you almost never get it back." End quote. Carl Sagan. Well, let me tell you something. There are millions of Americans who are standing up for freedom and liberty and against the bamboozler in chief. And all those sheeple that seem to be fine with being bamboozled and going along with their dictates from the Thugocracy, their mandates, their lack of data, lack of facts, lack of science-based totalitarian edicts. You see, there are millions of us who are standing up to the bamboozle. Let me give you some examples, because I hope you're still not listening to the bought-off lamestream fake media tentacle of the deep state, because they're going to make you think that the bamboozler-in-chief is just fine and everything's perfect and they're getting everything they want and there's absolutely no obstruction to their totalitarian rule. Well, nothing could be further from the truth, and that's what they don't want you to know. How about this? The divider-in-chief. This from Hannah Blow from Breitbart. Poll, majority say Joe Biden doing a poor job in uniting the country. Wait a minute. That's not what Rachel Maddow's telling us. That's not what CNN and Anderson Cooper, that's not what Neil Cavuto on Fox and Brett Baer are telling us, and that's not what we're hearing from CBS, NBC, ABC, PBS. Right. Because they're being paid to misinform you, disinform you, and keep you in the dark. Why? Because it makes you an easier target for the bamboozler-in-chief and the puppeteers who are pulling his and her Harris's strings. And I just don't mean Obama. It goes a lot higher than that, right? Let's look at the criminal banking syndicate. You know, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Pesor family. Yeah, that's where, those are the, yeah. From Hannah Blow, the majority of Americans believe Joe Biden has done a poor job in uniting the country. Obviously, the majority of the country is not bamboozled. Well, that's good news, but they're not going to tell you that. But we will. This from a Rasmussen Report survey, which exactly is not a right-leaning poll and pollster, by the way. The survey asked respondents to rate how Biden has done in terms of uniting the country. 53% said he has done a poor job, and 15% said he's only done a fair job. That being 68%. Ooh. How about this? 60% of independents say that Biden's doing a poor job. Ooh. The survey also asked, has America become more united or more divided since last year's election, or has it remained about the same? A solid majority of voters, 64%, said the country has become, quote, more divided, end quote, since the last election. Of note, Biden and Harris attempted to make unity a central theme of their election, mentioning it several times in his installation address. It wasn't an inaugural, it was an installation, right? Well, let me tell you this. Nothing brings people more together, I say this facetiously, brings people more together than totalitarian thugocracy, unconstitutional mandates based on falsehoods and fraud, right? And here's the good news. 68% of Americans are saying, get out of here. Both of you, all of you, everybody is saying, get out of here. But the reason why you feel as though you're alone and not with 68% of the population is because the bought-off lamestream fake media, including Fox News, which is a part of the syndicate. The Murdochs sit on the Council on Foreign Relations, for goodness sakes. That's a globalist entity that's behind a lot of this garbage. No, they want you to think that you're part of 1% of the population. No, you're part of 68% if you're questioning all this that's going on every front. But the abuse of power is actually what's getting to people, right? And no matter what anybody feels about this, it's how the thugocracy, Biden and Harris and their cult, have been coercing people to get this. Their biggest enemy and why they've had to go to mandates is because of their own behavior. People are like, wait a minute, if you're doing this, you say you care about me, but you're blaming me, you're making fun of me, you're taking my job away? What? You care about me? What? And even people who got this are looking at it going, wait a minute, wait, something's wrong. Something's really wrong here. The biggest enemy of the thugs is their behavior. Example in point. A politically motivated abuse of power. GOP rep rages it Attorney General Garland's weaponization of the Department of Justice against dissenting parents. Republican Congressman for Colorado's 4th District, Ken Buck, has penned an excellent reply for Garland's overreach, taking apart the Attorney General's weaponization of the Department of Justice point by point, including Garland threatening to turn loose the FBI on parents who disagree with the critical race theory doctrines of Biden and Harris. Buck states, quote, "Your memorandum is a politically motivated abuse of power and displays a lack of reasoned, sound judgment." Oh, well, yeah, that's being kind. "Confronting parents to oppose the views of the Biden administrations and its socialist agenda," end quote. But then when we dissect Garland and what he's doing in targeting parents just for questioning school boards, this from Andrew Widberg from American Thinker, Merrick Garland's problems with his son-in-law just got worse. Over the last few months, as classrooms were brought into American homes, parents learned that their children were being taught critical race theory and magical thinking about gender, as well as being forced to wear the masks that really, well, we won't go into that, but do interfere with children's health, learning, and socialization. Their vigorous complaints saw the National School Board Association suggest they're, quote, terrorists, end quote, and Merrick Garland answered the call. We learn, too, now that Merrick Garland's son-in-law, through his company, Panorama Education, sells critical race theory materials to public schools. And it just turned out that Panorama is also spreading material calling Trump and his supporters supremacists. Can you imagine if this happened in the previous administration? Right. Would have been impeached for the 14th time. This is pure abuse of power. And in those purely abusing power, there are others in this thugocracy of Biden and Harris who are allowing harm to occur. Harm to occur because they're just, well, lounging, which really is abuse of power. They're abusing their power by allowing, we have huge supply chain problems in this country. And what's the Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg, the former mayor of South Bend, who, anyone who's been to South Bend, no offense to people in South Bend, but it's not exactly a vacation spot. The guy, Buttigieg, when he was mayor, couldn't even fix the potholes in South Bend. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg has been on paid leave since mid-August amid the supply chain crisis. This from Paul Bois from Breitbart. As cargo ships congested at U.S. ports, creating an unprecedented supply chain crisis, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg was on paid leave to spend time with his husband, Chasten, and their two newborn babies. After weeks of people questioning Buttigieg's whereabouts as crisis after crisis mounted, Politico's West Wing, no less, confirmed that the Transportation Secretary was, quote, lying low, end quote. Quote, they didn't previously announce it, but Buttigieg's office told West Wing's Playbook that the secretary had actually been on paid leave since mid-August to spend time with his husband, Chasten, and their two newborn babies, end quote, Playbook reported. Now, wait. When our first daughter was born, she was born on a Saturday, right? I was on call until Saturday morning. She was born about 11 o'clock in the morning, and I had to be back on rounds by Sunday. Now, I'm not saying that was right, that my parental leave was less than 24 hours. What I am saying is this. I had a position as a physician and surgeon and responsibilities to patients. And as much as I didn't want to leave that baby girl and her mom to go to work, to take care of others, I did. When you are put in positions of authority, you have to accept that authority. And staying home for 2 months watching the kids doesn't cut it for somebody that's in the cabinet level and specifically tasked on this supply chain issue, which has the potential to harm every American. It is an abuse of power by being AWOL. Then we get this. Remember, our border czar, Kamala Harris. Oh, everything's fine. She hasn't even been to the border. Listen to the interviews I've done with Victor Avila, former INS agent, who is constantly at the border. She went to the border. No, she did. People in the People's Republic. Oh, she went to the border. No, she went to El Paso, but she didn't get anywhere near the border. And she's the border czar. She just missed a big high-level meeting in Mexico about this because she was too busy doing other things. Let's look at some of the other things she's been doing. It's all fake. Kamala Harris used child actors who had to audition for weird NASA promo. This from Zero Hedge. While Biden draws ridicule for using a Truman Show fake White House set across from the actual White House. Yeah, where he does these things are in the Eisenhower Executive Office building, which is next to the White House. And there's a set built up for him with pictures of the White House behind him. Yeah. Kamala Harris is earning jeers of her own for using child actors in a recent NASA YouTube video about space exploration that was supposedly so spontaneous. And oh, there's some kids. And oh, here's a vice president. Oh, why don't you just ask her some questions? Filmed in August while the Taliban was rapidly taking over Afghanistan. Remember that goat rodeo? And closing in on Kabul, and right before the Biden-Harris administration actually murdered a family of innocent civilians, including 7 children, with their drone strike. The quote, get curious with Vice President Harris, end quote, was tweeted by the VP's account on October 7th to celebrate World Space Week. And it's a cringe fest. The video portrayed the children as regular kids. However, it has been revealed that they were all paid actors who auditioned for the part by submitting a monologue and questions they would ask a world leader. Not exactly spontaneous as advertised. This according to the Daily Mail, which notes that the Washington Examiner revealed the production company behind this goat rodeo video with Harris and these kids that was all fake was put on by, ready for the production company name? They're out of Canada. Didn't even use American company to do this. The name of the company, quote, Sinking Ship Entertainment. No, I'm not making this up. This isn't something out of the Onion. I'm very serious. So while she's ignoring the border and was ignoring Afghanistan, what was happening? What was she doing? Oh, she was screaming at the top of lungs, don't pin this S on me with Afghanistan. She's doing fake videos. And then we have this. Remember, the smartest guy alive, Joe Biden. Joe Biden said the smartest guy alive he knows is Hunter, his son. The same Hunter who we spoke of months before the election, and actually had some videos taken down about it, by the way, which have now proven to be absolutely what we said, 100% correct, that Hunter was laundering money from China. And the big guy, Dad, got 10%, about $50 billion? Or 1.5 billion? 1.5 billion. 1.5 billion. Wow. And Biden said Hunter's the smartest guy he knows. You know, the guy who admitted on CBS interviews that, well, he smoked a lot of cocaine, and in fact, there are times that, well, he would be crawling on the floor and finding Parmesan cheese and smoking that because he thought it was crack. This is the smartest guy Joe Biden knows. From Zero Hedge. Joe and Hunter Biden shared bank accounts and paid each other's bills. I wonder if Joe paid the hooker bills and the crack bills for Hunter. Interesting. Joe Biden and his smartest man he knows, Hunter Biden, shared bank accounts and paid each other's bills while Joe was vice president, according to the Daily Mail, citing previously unseen emails from Hunter's laptop that could embroil the sitting, wherever he's sitting, in his son's FBI and IRS tax investigations, which are looking into Hunter's foreign business relationships and potential money laundering. Emails between Hunter and his Rosemont Seneca business partner, Eric Schwerin, who was doing Hunter's taxes, revealed that Joe and Hunter were paying each other's household bills. Hunter was also dealing with requests for a book deal for his then vice president dad, and also managed the donation of Joe's Senate papers to the University of Delaware, according to the report. It is all an abuse of power. And here is the good news. The vast majority of Americans are not bamboozled. They don't have their head in the sand. Actually, they don't have their head in an orifice of their body on their backside. They know the score. And the bought-off lamestream fake media wants to think that you're only 1% of people who really believe that this is off the rails. No, you're one of 68%. So what do? Well, you network this information to anyone and everyone you know. To all those that still might be bamboozled or are sheeple. Wake them up. Wake them up. It's not too late. Because the more people we have educated with the facts, the more people we have empowered. And the more people we have empowered, the sooner we end this reign of terror by the deep state and this thugocracy. I thank you for your time today. I hope you'll join us 24/7 at davejanda.com. I assure you it's the biggest bang for the buck you'll get. $9 a month gets you priceless information on a daily basis that I cannot bring forward on this YouTube channel, on Rumble, or on the radio because of deep state players at the FCC and, on this platform in Rumble. Yeah, there's still censorship. We hope you become part of our freedom family. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thanks for your time today.